Hi, in this video we're going to look at combining functions with x. First, off with a quick recap, we can solve this problem which we looked at in an earlier video. We always start from the inside, so we work out f of 2 first. That will just be 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and then we plug that into g. So we then work out g of 4, which then adds another 4 to it, which would give us 8. We'll look at combining those functions in terms of x. So we're going to work out gf of x. What you're going to do, you're going to start with what I put in brackets here for just this example. You're going to place f of x with what you are told it is. So we're told f of x is 2x. So we're now going to replace that, and we're left with g brackets 2x. Now the way we plug this into this function is everywhere we saw x here, we're now going to write 2x, because that's inside my brackets. So g of 2x, it won't be x plus 4, it will be 2x plus 4. Okay, and that's the key idea. So it takes a while to get your head around it, so I'm going to go through a few examples of how this works. So let's try it again with different functions over here. So again, if it's an exam or test, you tend to see it just like this. First step, you're going to replace the first function with what you're told it is over here. So we now have g brackets 3x plus 1. Okay, that's always your first step, it's always a fairly easy one. Next is slightly harder. We're going to plug 3x plus 1 into this function here. So here, everywhere I saw an x, I am now going to write 3x plus 1. And to make the maths works, you've got to keep that 3x plus 1 in brackets. So it's going to be 2 brackets 3x plus 1 minus 1. Now we need to work it out, we need to simplify the algebra. So expand the bracket, so that becomes 6x plus 2 minus 1, and then simplifying it together will just give us 6x plus 1. Okay, again, it's not the most intuitive idea, but in practice it becomes quite simple to you. Okay, let's try again with slightly harder functions here. So first step, we look for the function on the inside. That is g of x. We're going to write it again, but rather than write gx, we're going to write down what gx equals. So now we're left with f brackets 3x plus 1. Okay, then we go to our function f of x. Because we have f of 3x plus 1, everywhere I see an x here, I'm not going to write x, I'm instead going to write 3x plus 1. So that will now become 4 over 2, and it's not plus x, it's now going to be plus 3x plus 1. We can then simplify that, so that'll simply be 4 over 3x plus 3. So we just added the 2 and the 1 together there. Okay. Again, let's try a similar example, but again, slightly harder. First step, we replace g of x with what we know it equals. So we're now left with f of 2x plus 1. We're then going to copy this function down. However, every time instead of writing down an x, I'm going to write down a 2x plus 1. So I've now got 2x plus 1 all over 3 brackets 2x plus 1. Again, always include brackets here, minus 2. We then need to simplify this out. So my numerator is not going to change. Let's expand this bracket here. 3 lots of 2x plus 1 will become 6x plus 3. And then for your last step, you're going to merge these together. We have 3 minus 2, which is just a 1. And that would be your final answer. Okay, just one more example. Again, going through the exact same idea. Your first step's always the same. Look at the inside bracket and replace it with what you know it equals, which will be given in the question. So we now have g of 4x plus 1. We now know what g of x equals, so we're going to copy this down. Every time we see an x, we're going to write 4x plus 1. So it's going to be the square root of 2, don't forget the brackets, 4x plus 1 plus 1. Expand it out and simplify it. This will give me 8x plus 2. Add on the other 1 will give us 8x plus 3. That's it. Okay, people tend to find this concept quite hard, so if you practice it, the step that always people tend to get wrong is writing this line down here. Okay, I hope that helped, and thanks for listening.